let's synthesize the American College of Radiology's RADS scoring system 1 through 5 using 3 parameters: diffusion-weighted imaging, T2, fast-spin echo imaging, and dynamic contrast enhanced MRI. It's no coincidence that DWI is first, because it trumps these other categories. The RADS 1 and the RADS 5 are easy. A RADS 1 has no abnormality on any B value, especially on the high B value images. It doesn't really matter what the T2 and the DCE MRI show, although typically there is no mass-like rounded lesion on the T2 weighted image. Some enhancement in the peripheral zone will be allowed as long as there is no diffusion restriction. And the ADC map will also show no hypointense mass-like foci. Now, RADS 5, that's also easy. You're going to have diffusion restriction of a mass that is over 1.5 centimeters, closer to 2 centimeters in size. On the ADC map, you're going to have a focal hypointensity that is over 1.5 centimeters, and on the DWI, you're going to have hyperintensity on the high B value numbers that ascends greatly as the B value starts to go up, and its size is also over 1.5 centimeters. So a RADS 4 is also quite easy. It's the exact same as a RADS 5, irregardless of what happens on the T2 or the DCE MRI, except the lesion's smaller. It's under 1.5 centimeters or 1.5 centimeters or less. So it's a size criteria between a 4 and a 5. Let's go to a RADS 2. In a RADS 2, once again, the DWI trumps everything. You might see some indistinct hypointensity on the parametric ADC map. However, the high B value DWI acquired image is negative. The T2 weighted image may show some linear areas or wedge-like areas or non-mass-like areas of signal hypointensity, but any signal intensity here and any mass-like signal intensity is trumped by a negative DWI, as described here, a DWI score of 2, and even the dynamic contrast enhanced image doesn't add a tremendous amount. So you really have to have some substantive DWI restriction and ADC map abnormalities to start moving up into the higher categories. RADS 3, the tweener. Well, the RADS 3 is when you have an indeterminate DWI, or diffusion-weighted series of sequences. What that means is that you have mild or moderate hypointensity on the ADC map and isointensity to mild hyperintensity as you go from a B value of 0 to 4 to 800 to 1200 to 1600. So it goes up, but not as much as it goes up here. It doesn't smack you right in the nose. The T2 weighted peripheral zone appearance can be any, but if you are going to read a RADS 4 in this scenario, so let's say you have an ill-defined mass, a DWI criteria of 3, if you get early enhancement on the DCE MRI, it's now a 4. So the tweener becomes a 4 based on the DCE MRI and gets biopsied. Early enhancement, before anything else, with or without a washout. On the other hand, if it's non-enhancing, then it's categorized as a 3, or minimally enhancing, it's categorized as a 3, and now you've got a challenging situation. You've got a tweener lesion. Fortunately, that doesn't happen very often. Less than 5 to 10% of the time, and you'll be reading RADS 3s less and less frequently as you see more and more prostate MRI and get comfortable with the modality. So that's the synthesis of the RADS assessment using these 3 parameters in the peripheral zone of the prostate.